Very talented young man. He became the first black starting quarterback in BYU history back in October of 2019. He's a dad now, a very proud dad, big part of his life these days. And his debut, you and I were there in Las Vegas against Arizona out of the Pac-12. We both thought he played very well.
I really thought he played well. A lot of poise, played smart football, took care of the ball, showed some athleticism.
And a play fake for BYU on the first play of the night. Algier went out of the backfield and caught that little touch pass from Jaren Hall for the first completion of the game.
Well, this Utah defense is going to challenge Jaren Hall. He's not going to have the ability, or his team isn't going to have the ability against this defense to have 10, 12, 14 play drives. He's got to have some poise, but when the shots are there, he's got to take them, because you need chunk plays to beat this Utah defense.
Big, strong up front for the Utes. Handoff Algier, and the ankle tackle made by Devin Lloyd, who is the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week last week after week 1, and he is one of the leaders of the Utes defense.
I think we might hear his name a few times tonight. He is incredibly long, athletic, plays that inside linebacker spot, but they'll move him to the edge so that he can rush the passer.
BYU went quick tempo on third down, dumped short. Palu, the receiver who had the big game last week, makes the catch, but Hayden Fury right there for the open field tackle, and that's going to be a 3 and out for the Cougars to start the game.
Yeah, you can see how that defense covers ground. Yeah, they can just really suffocate you. They've got speed, they have size, and you know, there's a good argument to be made that that might be the best defense in the Pac-12. Oregon might have something to say about that after their performance today.
True. We may be reevaluating the Pac-12 on the fly here after week 2, but the Utes certainly want to lay claim to that title. So the punt team out for the Cougars. Ryan Rico had a big week 1. He's got a monster leg, too big in this case. He boomed that punt to the end zone for a touchback. So Rico, just a little too much leg strength there. That was 68 yards. I think they'll take the 48-yard net anyway, even with the touchback.
Absolutely.
So Utah's quarterback Charlie Brewer will come on the field. Charlie, who you may recognize the name. Remember Charlie from all his years, a lot of starting experience at Baylor. He comes from a football family from the state of Texas. His granddad, his dad, his uncle, his brother, all quarterbacks at the college level. Charlie following suit, and he played 39 games in his Baylor career, second in career passing yards and touchdowns. Solid in Utah's week 1 win against Weber State.
He is very accurate as a passer and more mobile than most people realize.
It's a deep running back group for Utah. Mekhi Bernard gets the start and gets the first carry and has a nice gain, almost 10 yards on the first play of scrimmage for Utah. In fact, they gave him 10 and a first down.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Brewer watching his tape from last week. You know, he's been a shotgun quarterback at Baylor. He had to learn over the summer how to operate under center, and he looked like a veteran, NFL veteran, taking the snap under center, turning his back to the defense for passes. So now he's back in the shotgun, probably the most comfortable spot for him.
Yeah, it's not like they'll never do that with Utah, but they do mix it up. Andy Ludwig has a very varied playbook, the offensive coordinator for the Utes. Brewer's got all kinds of time to throw, and he throws it to the head coach.
Pass is legal. Number 18 is in the area. Second down.
That was Kalani Sitake, wasn't it, who ran over and made that catch? Flashback to his old playing days. I think he got a warning. You think he's jazzed up for this rivalry game?
Yeah, you know, he tried to play it cool all week. Just another game, just another game. Look at that. He's into it.
I mean, it's not like it just came right to him.
He had a 5-yard sprint there.
Oh boy, lots of energy on that BYU sideline. 2nd and 10. Bernard back in the backfield alongside Brewer. And that is a hit in the backfield and a tackle for loss.
Hey, Joe, you with me? They're in their nickel package. Let's get an ISO on number 0 for BYU defense.
Atanasa Mahe, Peyton Wilgar among the Cougars who are there defensively. 3rd and long.
Yeah, you know, BYU has a tendency on 3rd downs to do a little bit of pressure. As you see the great penetration by that defense. They tend to be more of a 3rd down pressure, play zone behind it.
A long time since these Utah players experience anything like this road crowd noise. Blitz comes. There's that pressure and an interception. The pressure forces the pick. Chaz Ayu picks it off.
Yeah, and they played zone behind it. Gonna let the crowd go here for a sec.
He was all over the field last week, and he starts off tonight in a big, big way.
Well, Flynn, it's what we've been talking about. The trend for BYU on third down is to bring pressure, but to play zone behind it so that the defensive backs are looking at the quarterback. Most teams play man coverage behind the zone, behind the pressure. So Brewer sort of assumed there would be man and he could get rid of the ball. But you got Chaz Ayu back there staring at it, knowing exactly where to go.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've been watching BYU football under Kalani Sitake and their defensive coordinator, Elisa Tuiaki, for years now. This has not often been a pressure team.
Right.
First 2 weeks of this season, they clearly have added some stuff during the offseason. Gunnar Romney is on the field for BYU. That's good news for the Cougars. Hall threw it a little behind his intended target, and a big hit knocked the ball incomplete.
Yeah, you brought up a good point with Romney. Now, the BYU receiving core is a bit banged up. Romney and also Puau is also banged up, and that could present a problem for BYU.
Neil Puau had 8 catches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't finish the game last week fully healthy. There is Gunnar Romney, who had a monster season last year with Zach Wilson as the BYU quarterback. He got hurt early in the week 1 game against Arizona. A little option play, and the pitch to Algier. The ball comes loose. It went out of bounds. Nephi Sewell put the hit on.
Man, the speed of this defense trying to get to the edge is going to be a problem. And BYU likes to run the ball. That's their system, really, to run to the edge and cut back. But they are trying to throw to loosen up the defense. And nothing so far yet.
That was a loss of about 6 yards on that play. So borderline field goal range. We're at altitude. The BYU kicker has a big leg, but maybe not in field goal range. A little short pass incomplete right to the feet of Algier.
Pass is legal. Number 25 is in the area. 4th down.
But it is 4th down. We'll see what Kalani Sitake wants to do.
Yeah, Jaron Hall there making a good decision, recognizing that the screen pass was blown up and trying to preserve the possibility of a field goal.
So it isn't the field goal team. That looks to me like that's Ryan Rico, the punter, coming out. Well, you got to give Utah defense a lot of credit after that turnover. BYU had the ball in great field position. They went backwards.
Yeah, you really want points off of a turnover to make the team that turned it over pay and feel that pain from it. But when you get a stop by your defense like that, that's a huge win.
End over end, and a great punt there is going to be down inside the 3-yard line. So one thing the turnover did, it puts Utah in some very poor field position. Utah's going to have the ball when we come back, but wow, that's good special teams play by the Cougars.
Yeah, remembering that, you can even be in the end zone if you need to be. Just leave the ball out front. They had it surrounded. Good special teams.
Take a look at tonight's game plan, brought to you by Bear Paint.
Yeah, that's not a misprint. If you haven't seen tight ends in a while, you will see them tonight. Utah has a bunch of them, and they get involved in the run game, and they really help their passing game. And we talked about Jaron Hall, what he needs to do tonight with that tough defense he's facing.
They just moved 2 of them on 1st down from inside the 5, and a nice straight ahead run. Tavion Thomas, who was kind of the breakout star last week for Utah. The Utes ideally will develop a bell cow primary running back. That's how Kyle Whittingham likes to do it.
Well, I think Thomas would have been the guy. I think he would have won the job over the other 4 guys based on his performance last week, except he fumbled in that game. And it's one thing you don't do as a Kyle Whittingham running back. You do not fumble.
Some of those numbers for Dalton Kincaid, one of those tight ends Rod's talking about. They have some really talented ones at Utah. Thomas got stopped a couple yards short. It'll be 3rd down from around the 10.
Yeah, they will use 3 tight ends an awful lot. and they will split them out. So for a defense, it's a problem because you try to adjust and match personnel, and you can't. They don't have to substitute to go to a heavy package or to spread you out.
Well, we'll see what the Utes want to do on 3rd down. From deep in their own territory after the excellent special teams execution. BYU moved, then Utah flinched.
I think that was Gabe Summers who flinched first and forced the Utah offensive line to react.
Well, that would be a big mistake if that's against BYU.
Yeah.
Offside. Defense number 98 in the neutral zone causing the offense to false start. The 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
That's a gift.
All right, I'm thinking tight end. Let's find 80 for our ISO.
So Summers commits the penalty. That's the 1st down for Utah. They didn't have to work to earn it. From right around the 15-yard line, 2nd possession for Utah. Charlie Brewer threw an interception. First time the Utes had the ball right immediately into the backfield, but Thomas too fast. He got around the corner and made something out of what could have been a big-time negative play. That was a nice run from Tavion Thomas, who started his college career at Cincinnati, then went to junior college, has transferred in, and it's not just Brewer and Thomas, it's this enormous group of transfers that are impacting Utah's program.
Yeah, Kyle Whittingham said this is the largest group of transfers he's ever gone out and gotten 8 transfers. And you know, he says when you go out to get guys out of the portal, you go get them to step in and play, not to develop. You want them to contribute right now, and those guys are doing it.
What did he tell us? We hit the jackpot with this group. He thinks like it's really changed the Utah team. 2nd and short. Brewer throws short. That's a 1st down completion. Across the 30-yard line. Mekhi Bernard out of the backfield with the catch.
You'll see a lot of that. Offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig likes the NFL style of getting the backs out of the backfield into the passing attack, and Bernard is really, really good. He catches the ball very well out of the backfield and is good in pass protection, and that's why he's on the field an awful lot, even though he isn't the inside power runner that they normally have.
I think you're talking to the wrong guy, Greg. You're talking to me. Charlie Brewer under center. And that is a slide short of the 1st down, but to avoid the big hit. A gain of 9. 2nd and 1.
Peely had a big game last week, 17 tackles against Arizona. He said, you know what, I didn't do that in high school. I didn't do it in Pop Warner. I got 17 in a college football game.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the captains of this BYU team also had a sack as part of that 17 tackle effort. Utah moving the ball, though. They started right around their own 2. And they're out to the 40. Another play under center. Thomas, the ball came out, and it's scooped up by the Cougars. Isaiah Herron was right there. It just came to him.
Wow. We talked about Thomas fumbling last week. This is his 2nd fumble in 2 games. He's been dynamic in the backfield, but not holding on to the ball has been an issue. And this one, he gets it away from his body, it gets poked out, and the 2nd takeaway for BYU in business.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. And in part by Chick-fil-A. Try the grilled chicken club sandwich today.
Well, that was the scene here in Provo a long time ago. That's the last BYU win head-to-head against Utah. It was in overtime after the Utes had kicked a field goal. Max Hall threw a touchdown pass to Andrew George. Kalani Sitake, since he's taken over this program, former BYU player, former assistant with Kyle Whittingham at Utah. He has never beaten his mentor, Coach Whittingham. Lots of crossover with the staffs. Obviously, those two are very, very close.
Yeah, he was trying to play it cool this week, but you could see it.
Yeah, they all try to play it cool. Handoff on first down to Lupini Katoa for a short gain for BYU. Well, Cougars, one thing that's plagued them during the 9-game losing streak is turning the ball over themselves, and not just turning it over, giving up defensive touchdowns. A lot of times the Utah defense has just been a bully in this head-to-head series.
I really think here Kalani Sitake has to be aggressive with the decision making and play calling. You can't keep getting turnovers and not get points, and you've got momentum. So I think this series he's got to think, hey, 4 downs if we need it, take some shots if we need to, but they have to convert this.
Last time they started on the 30-yard line and got no points out of it. Hall nowhere to go with the football, and now being chased out of the pocket. Jaren Hall does have wheels. He dumps that one off for a positive gain out inside the 35.
Do you know how
3rd and short?
You know how good that throw was? I mean, he's almost on a dead sprint. That is a very difficult throw.
And he found Samson Nakua, who is now playing for BYU. Played in this rivalry on the other side a couple years ago.
Yeah. You thought we were kidding. We said guys playing for one team and then transferring. He actually caught a touchdown pass playing for Utah against BYU in 2018.
Well, this might be a test of your theory here. You get 3rd and a yard. Maybe you get 2 plays to try to get that yard.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
They bring the big boys in. BYU, they have an ultra heavy package, but they didn't like how it was. In fact, the play clock was winding down, so they earned a timeout to set up this 3rd and 1 play. So BYU calls a timeout. We'll take a timeout ourselves and be right back for a big first quarter play. Still scoreless in Provo. Kick off your Week 1 NFL Sunday with NFL Countdown right here on ESPN. On the app, starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Patrick Mahomes is going to sit down with his old teammate. There's Alex Smith. He's joined our crew, the newest addition to the Countdown crew. Coach Ryan still has his nice slice of pizza for the production meeting. All is right in the world. Inside look at Aaron Rodgers, what could be his last time in Green Bay. All kinds of good stuff to set up tomorrow morning, Week 1 in the NFL. On 3rd down and very short, a fullback run, and that was a nice slip of a tackle by Mason Wake, who's such a cool weapon in this BYU offense.
You know, he doesn't get the ball very often, but when he does, he tends to do something special. Here it's a spin, but we've also seen him just hurdle players. For a big guy, he's got really good feet.
From Lone Peak High School, an athletic powerhouse here in the state of Utah that has produced so many players on both sides of this rivalry, and not just in football. Jaren Hall on 1st and 10 Cougars after the 2nd Utah turnover of the first quarter. Slings that one out to the left side. I mean, that's well defended by the Utes. Helmet flies off at the end of the play. That's Puka Nakua. His brother is playing today for the first time for BYU, and so is Puka, who's doing some talking.
He may not participate in the next down.
The 2 brothers both transferred here. One from Utah, one from the University of Washington. Back home to be near family.
He looked to me like he's excited to be back on the football field. Now a penalty flag. That's going to be some movement against BYU.
Offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
The right guard, Connor Pay.
Correction, 2nd down.
Get it right, Chris. Chris Coit, part of this Pac-12 officiating crew.
I still think that we're going to have to see Jaren Hall on the move a little bit, move in the pocket, or actually get him involved in the run game some.
As you pointed out, I mean, he can throw it on the move. There was a lot of room for him to run. He decided to throw and could not fit it in, trying to hit Pau, but Brandon McKinney, another University of Washington transfer, but he went to the Utes. He got his hand on the ball.
Yeah. Sometimes he'll play that deep safety spot. Other times he drops down into the box, and he was dropping back in underneath coverage and got his hands on it. Look, this is a really aggressive and fast defense. They tend to bring pressure with 5, and they'll play man-to-man coverage behind it. We'll see if they do that now.
All getting everybody organized. Now Neil Pau coming off the big Week 1. Came in motion. Hall's going to go over the top. Incomplete. Trying to hit his tight end, Isaac Rex. And that was an overthrow. Tight ends were strangely uninvolved in Week 1 for BYU.
And I like this decision here by Sitake. When you get a takeaway you have to make the other team pay. You have to get some points out of it, if at all possible. Otherwise, it's a wash. It means nothing. Like the first takeaway they got resulted in 0.
It is Jake Oldroyd who is the place kicker. Now another flag thrown. This time, though, it's going to be against Utah.
Offside in the neutral zone with contact. Defense number 98. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Not enough to give a first down. If Utah does that again, then that would be a much bigger penalty. But it does make it a closer field goal for Jake Oldroyd, who's one of the best kickers in college football, but he did not kick week 1. He's been battling some injuries.
Yeah, they were happy to get him back for this game. He did practice all week, so we expect that he should be back to his all-conference form.
37-yard field goal is good. Right down the middle for Jake Oldroyd. His first try of the year, perfect. And BYU grabs a 3-0 lead. Kicker celebrations, why not? All right, while we have a minute, let's get our first check-in studio tonight with Matt Berry. Matt.
Ouch.
The Washington offense, if we're talking West Coast football, which, I mean, the Pac-12 had a great day today, just that one win alone, Oregon on the road against Ohio State. The Washington Huskies offense has some work to do.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a change at quarterback. Dylan Morris giving way to Sam Heward. You know, Heward's a 5-star, a lot of excitement about him. And certainly the fans have been waiting to see what he can do. So we'll see. But 2 weeks and lackluster performance, that's going to get a lot of calls for the backup.
3-0 BYU lead. Oldroyd kicked the field goal. Now he's going to kick off. And he will boom that one to the back of the end zone. So the Utes offense and the BYU defense back on the field. The BYU defense is flying around in the first quarter.
Yeah, that is a tough defense, and it begins, you know, up front. They've got 4 guys who are really difficult to handle. They force issues. BYU really, when you get your linebackers on the edge, you know, like Wilgar playing like that, getting out there, and then when you bring pressure and play zone behind it so that you can see things, terrific job. And how about a chance to scoop it up right there? Another big play by Isaiah Heron, who's playing for Keenan Ellis tonight.
Keenan Ellis, who suffered a very scary but ultimately not nearly as serious as it looked injury. More pressure and a great pass from Brewer across the middle. He delivered it right on the money, complete for 10 yards and a Utah first down. Devon Vele.
Well, the blitz was tipped immediately. The press man coverage was shown immediately. And with a guy who's started 41 games, he knows where to go with the football right away.
It is where that experience for Charlie Brewer. 40 career starts tonight, number 41. Only one quarterback active among all in FBS has more career passing yards than Charlie Brewer. BYU, I believe, has called another timeout. So they're still trying to get sorted out exactly what's going on here. Kalani Sitake calls timeout, and now he wants to talk to the referee about something, maybe asking why we aren't looking at that play. Maybe he thought that the ball hit the ground.
Yeah, I think you're right.
BYU is challenging the ruling of a catch on the field.
Okay, so it's a timeout for now, but they're going to use a challenge and ask the replay officials to take a look. We'll see what we think.
That might be a pretty good challenge.
Wow, how did they miss that on the field? That looks pretty obvious to me.
Yeah. mean, that ball goes from the chest to the crown to the belly. He never had his hands underneath it. That's an easy call. That's going to increase the trust that Satake has for the guys up in the booth looking out there saying, challenge it.
It is. You do have to trust as a head coach. That one's going to work out well for the Cougars, I think. Vele just, I mean, maybe it was a good sales job at the end of the play, but he definitely did not catch that one.
Well, you need indisputable video evidence. I think that's it.
Yeah, this one shouldn't take very long.
I wonder if that helps him with the refs now. He says, look, I'm helping you guys out. I fixed one for you already. You should trust me.
My guess is maybe not, but one part about reviewing this is even if you quickly determine that it was an incomplete pass, you also have to make sure you get right where you spot the ball back, what the down and distance is from there.
Clock.
So
Yep.
it can be a little more complicated.
After review, the pass is incomplete. BYU has won its challenge, has not used the timeout, and maintains its right to challenge. It's 2nd and 10.
You know, shouldn't you get more than that? I mean, if you win a challenge, you just get to keep your timeout.
You want a bonus?
That's something. You know, maybe you should get a second challenge. You should get something for being right.
I think Kalani Satake is saying kind of what we were like. How did the guys on the field miss that one? So it's 2nd down for Utah back at the 25. We'll work on some ideas about how a team can be rewarded if you win your challenge.
Now BYU does not blitz often on 1st or 2nd down. They're one of the lowest blitzing teams in that situation, and they're showing zone.
That is a completion along the sideline and a big hit to push the receiver out of bounds. That's TJ Pledger, another one of those transfers. He had a productive season last year for Oklahoma. Not maybe the featured back, but one of the best backs for the Sooners, now playing for Whittingham.
Well, this is his audition because Thompson has put the ball on the ground a couple times now. Once last week, once tonight, and so this gives Pledger an opportunity. Wouldn't be surprised to see something out of the backfield with them. The back out of the backfield is a big part of the offense.
3rd and 5. Just a 3-man rush. They still got some pressure on, and a great break to the ball by Aaron, who came up with the fumble last time and now knocks the ball down. Isaiah Aaron is having an excellent first quarter.
Oh, every defensive back across America is saying, be still, my beating heart. When you see a corner make a play like that, oh, look at that. He kept the backside arm low and away from the official. Good position, comes across. That is perfect. That is textbook.
So Utah is going to have to punt. Their offense has sputtered. Nyberg deep to receive. And no fair catch. Made that first man miss across the 25-yard line. BYU will have the ball once again.
We haven't seen BYU really take any shots down the field. They haven't gotten Hall involved in any quarterback run game yet. And he may be the secret weapon when it comes to that, how they can move the ball on the ground. Because right now, this defense is flowing so fast to things outside, and they're dominating inside with their 2 big tackles that they can't run inside. So that's why they're struggling so much. They can't run inside against those big tackles, and the speed is shutting them off when they try to go outside.
They've had the ball 3 times. They have a total of 23 yards, so that counts as one of their best plays of the night so far. Algier straight ahead.
Keep in mind that the receivers, at least Romney and Pau, have been banged up the last week or so. So they may not be 100%. I still think the tight end spot is where you'll see most of the action for BYU.
Algier, another carry straight ahead. And that's a BYU first down on the ground.
Yeah, getting back to sort of who they really are, their ID. that zone, outside zone, inside zone, let Algier get the ball and read it and cut it back. That's really their personality. And they came out throwing the ball and heading outside to try to loosen up the defense. Now they've come and said, you know what, Algier hasn't touched the ball enough.
Let's check on the sideline with Alex. Alex?
Well, guys, earlier this week I had a chance to catch up with BYU center James Empey, and he said they wanted to be more physical. Well, coming off the sideline after their last drive, he told his teammates he liked what he's seen. He said to keep with it. He likes the matchup that they're having against Utah's defensive line, and he said we just got to stay with it. Things will open up for us.
I mean, it is a good point Alex makes in that Utah's defensive line is big and strong and fast and fearsome, but BYU's offensive line is a big group too. James Empey, who's been around a long time in this program. He's a captain. He's a 300-pounder. BYU, they don't feel like they should be pushed around by anybody up front. Nice move, Algier. They got some extra yardage, just left the Utah defender in the dust.
Well, Moala got through and had a shot. Watch him cut through, and nice cutback to make Moala miss. You know, Algier is underrated for as far as a guy having moves, but he has a nice ability to cut back, good vision, seeing what's on the backside of things.
Final minute of the first quarter of this rivalry game. BYU's got a 3-0 lead. Utah's already turned the ball over twice on third down. A handoff, and that was a good play call. They took Algier off the field, made it look like they were going to throw the ball, and instead they gave it to Lupini Katoa, and he's surged right ahead across midfield, first down.
Oh man, Blake Freeland and Clark Barrington on the left side move that defensive line completely out to the right.
And now they go quick tempo, give it right back to Katoa, straight ahead running for Lupini Katoa down to the 35.
Yeah, that left side of the line is doing what a lot of people didn't think was possible. Freeland and Barrington just pounding away, pushing those tackles far to the right side.
They wanted to go quickly again, but they could not get the playoff.
Timeout on the field
before the first quarter came to an end. But BYU is feeling like this is the night they're going to end their rivalry losing streak. A long way to go. A lot of football to be played. They lead 3-0. Season of Monday Night Football kicks off with a really cool matchup. The Ravens in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the app. So many ways to watch. Special Monday Night Countdown starts us off at 6 Eastern. Plus, if you want to, you can flip over to ESPN2, the Monday Night Football Megacast with the Manning brothers, Peyton and Eli. All right, back to football here. Hall down the field and incomplete. Puka Nacua had a step, just one step. It had to be a perfect delivery, and it wasn't quite perfect.
Yeah, but good decision to take a shot. You know, BYU has kind of controlled this game with the 2 takeaways, but they only have 3 points to show for it. I mean, what do you think? I sort of feel like in this territory, you're thinking 4 downs. You're not thinking about field goals, right?
Well, I think the point you made early on is a real good one. It is so hard to march down and just get 1 first down at a time, 5 yards at a time against Utah and make it into the end zone. I think you got to take some of those chances. Now it's going to be 3rd down and long. And the Utes, they believe they have the best defense in the Pac-12. They're big, yeah. They're strong, they're fast in the back end. They've supplemented their secondary with some transfers. Their young guys got experience in the short year last year.
Yeah. Got Devin Lloyd in the middle. He's already got like 6 tackles. He just, you know, nobody can seem to block him. But, you know, if you're BYU now, you're thinking you got to get enough on this 3rd down to have a 4th down choice.
Yeah, right now there's only basically one choice. Hall stepped through the pressure, but Utah still got him to the ground. I don't know that it's officially going to be called a sack, because I think he got back to the line of scrimmage. But now it's 4th down and 11 from the 36.
Can't punt from here, right? You can't punt from the 36.
If you punt from the 36, you're asking to lose the game. The problem is when it's 4th and 11.
Still, I mean, yeah, you're better off going for it, or you're better off trying to field goal, but you can't punt from the 36.
I agree. It would be, what, a 53-yard field goal try? That's not what they're going to do. They are going for it. Play clock winding down. And they do snap the ball. They're going for it. Hall in the pocket. Now Hall's going to try to run, and he's got wide open space out in front. Hall gets the first down and much more inside the 20. Wow, what an aggressive decision by Kalani Sitake, and it worked out beautifully.
It did, because, you know, he understands a field goal here really doesn't do them a whole lot of good. So he's trying to get something big out of it. And you talk about a guy with athleticism. You know, he doesn't have Zach Wilson's arm talent. Very few people do. But he's got wheels, and he's got some toughness, some moxie, and he is showing great poise and restraint and not making bad decisions. That was a great decision.
Yeah, Zach Wilson actually tested with the stopwatch, maybe a little faster than people expected, but this guy's a better runner.
Yep.
He just is. He's going to execute a designed run here. Utah saw that one coming.
You get down here in the high red zone area defensively, you get a lot more man coverage. If you're a defensive back down here, you're thinking of, hey, crossing routes. Don't let picks happen to you. Don't get picked or blocked off by another receiver.
Lost a couple yards on that first down play, so it's 2nd and 12. Ball again harassed in the pocket, and he threw it to nobody. Penalty flags, though. There was double coverage. Samson Nakua was in the end zone.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's on Travis Broughton, who probably, I thought he got a little hand on him early, not at the end. It was early on. It's not there. It was much earlier where he sort of cut him off while the ball was in the air.
So it's going to be 1st and goal, although now the officials are stopping things. So 1st and goal from the 5. 12th play of this BYU drive.
Inside routes are a problem down here. You make sure if you're a corner or a safety, you keep them out of the middle of the field.
Algier straight ahead, got upended after getting a couple yards.
The left side of that BYU line has done a really good job this series. And if you're going to run it down here, that's the place to go.
Well, this is power against power. BYU's bringing in extra tight ends. Mason Wake's coming in the game. Carter Wheat, number 96, the tight end.
Tafua on the outside edge, 42. He has a knack for getting into the backfield.
And somebody got in the backfield. That's Vontae Davis, the safety who was there, and then got some help from his teammates. It's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, they sniffed that one out. That was to Tafua's side. Lloyd came over, as did the safety, Vontae Davis. They certainly saw the tendency there. They were on it. So listen, you've got big tight ends down here, big size advantage. You can't run it inside, and you want to stay away from that kind of safety. So get it up to the big tight ends and let them fight for the ball. 50-50 ball.
Isaac Rex is alone on the right side. I'm perplexed how uninvolved he's been these first 2 weeks for BYU. All sprinting away from him and throws right to the pylon. Touchdown, Neil Palu. Maybe you don't need tight ends when you can throw it to him. That's his 3rd of the year already.
I guess not. He's a guy that was called a game time decision because of injury. Yesterday, he ran past us and said, I'm playing. Yes, he is.
Yeah, there's your decision.
The ruling of a touchdown is under review.
They're going to review to make sure he got in. I thought he did. Was still in bounds when he reached the ball over the pylon, broke the plane.
You know, in this day and age, shouldn't we just have a chip in the football?
It is an interesting idea.
I mean, we keep looking at this with our eyes to see if we get a first down or if it broke the plane. You put a chip in the football.
I mean, I guess on a play like this, even if you had the Rod Gilmore chip in the football, you would still have to make sure that his foot wasn't out of bounds at the moment the chip buzzed or whatever he's going to do. I haven't been in on the planning meetings on that, but that looks to me like a clear touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, the NFL already has chips in the football getting data, so, you know.
After review, the ruling of a touchdown is confirmed.
Well, I personally don't mind a little analog in the digital world that we live in, but it is sometimes it is a little ridiculous. The links of the chain are all tangled up and they can't get it right. This time we got it right. Extra point is perfect, and BYU 9 consecutive losses in this rivalry. They've got a 10-0 lead.
Yeah, 10-0 lead, trying to make sure there's not a 10-game losing streak. Hall on the move. So are the Cougars.
Well, welcomes you to the Live Moss Student Section Contest of the Year. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete, or use the hashtag Student Section Sauce to get the committee's attention.
This crowd was singing and dancing the entire break.
I think they got the committee's attention here in Provo.
Yeah.
But there have to be 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 BYU students here. And it is a gigantic student section at sold out Lavelle Edwards Stadium. First sellout here in quite a while, which surprised me. Good kick coverage for the Cougars. Utah's offense will come back on the field. But first, another check in studio with Matt.
And number 36, Drew Jensen.
I totally agree. Missouri, I think, has a chance to be a much improved team. Kentucky's a really good team.
I agree with that. Students have done a really nice job there.
Their offensive system has really opened up this year. Kai Bernard in the backfield. It's going to be an interesting thing to follow here. I mean, Tavion Thomas had the big week last week for Utah. Looked like the dynamo in the backfield. Fumbled it. Has already fumbled it today. He may have earned a spot in Kyle Whittingham's doghouse, but we may not see him back on the field.
I think you're probably right about that. Fumbling the football once, okay, we'll give you another chance. Twice, that's a problem.
Brent Keithy came in motion, Roddy. He's the guy we haven't said his name yet. The tight ends have been well defended by BYU. Where are the tight ends? I don't get it.
Me neither. That's only the 7th pass by Brewer. Only his 3rd completion. Now, give BYU some credit. They've changed up their tendencies. They have not traditionally been a team that brings pressure or shows pressure on 1st or 2nd down.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense number 41. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play, 1st down.
They've done more of that tonight, and I think that has disrupted what Utah expected on offense, and I don't think they found a rhythm. And this is clearly Peely coming in late. A guy had given himself up. He was already in the grasp over there, and you're taking a shot. A lot of ways to get hurt on the sideline over there.
The only completions that Utah has made in the pass game so far in the first half have been to their running backs. Charlie Brewer after the completion and then the penalty yardage under center. He's going down. Chaz Ayu came as a defensive back with the blitz.
Again, this is what we're talking about. They don't normally do this. This time they brought Chaz Ayu, the strong safety, down from the outside and brought him from the edge. This is a whole new approach for BYU. You see, he's coming free and they can't pick him up in the backfield. That's Bernard who couldn't get him.
I mean, I like it. sometimes you got to break your own tendencies. And I'm not saying BYU had been totally predictable on defense, but they played a very conservative, sort of make you earn it style.
Rush 3, drop 8, take your time, bend but don't break.
Yeah, for a long time, really. Handoff around the left corner. That's a nice gain and a first down. Much more Mekhi Bernard with his speed, the one returner in the backfield for Utah inside the BYU 30.
Got to the edge. Tyler Batty, the defensive end over there, got hooked. And when you get to the edge, watch, he's going to get hooked right here. And there you go. You're out the gate. When you don't build a wall, the running back can get out. And Bernard took full advantage of it.
So a 32-yard run. Mekhi Bernard. Utah moving the ball the best they have all night. There's a tight end, Brant Keithy with the catch. Now BYU had about 4 defenders right around him, but still a gain of 5.
Yeah, they are at their best when they are using their tight ends. Keithy, tremendous receiver, not one of this, blocking tight ends, a guy who can get down the field. Kincaid also, but they really haven't gotten those guys involved, and until they do, their offense isn't going to run smoothly.
I mean, they use Keithy as a fly sweep jet sweep runner. I mean, how many tight ends in the country do that?
Well, he's in the slot now, and he's got a matchup that he probably likes against a strong safety.
Brewer kind of looking in his direction. There he is, and it's caught for a touchdown. That's Keithy. And Utah in the end zone for the first time tonight. 20 yards, Utah touchdown.
You could see that one coming when he got into that slot and he was matched up with Robinson. Is actually the nickel. That's a matchup that you knew Utah was looking at, that they wanted. Look at that matchup. And then at the fake to the outside, inside, you cannot give a guy 2 ways to go when you are a defensive back. You got to take one away, and he didn't take either one away. Keithy ran a tremendous post.
I probably sounded a little cranky there asking where are the tight ends, but I mean, it just they're most talented position group arguably, and BYU's got talented tight ends that have been quiet.
What do you think the Utah fans were saying?
Probably something pretty similar.
Yeah.
Extra point up and good. So Utah down 10-0 no longer. Back to a 3-point game. Find number 80. That's usually a good formula for the Utes.
Yeah, man-to-man coverage. You got a guy who knows how to work it. How about working for a touchdown? Utes are on the board.
Ball Primetime, presented by Geico, is brought to you by Twisted Hard Iced Tea. Crack open a refreshing Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Great tradition of NFL players from BYU and current players and stars. Zach Wilson, Taysom Hill. Fred Warner's one of the better linebackers really in the league. How about the great Steve Young, number 8 here in Provo.
They certainly have had a quarterback tradition at BYU over the years. Jim McMahon, Steve Young, Ty Detmer. Just a list of guys who've done great things.
I have a feeling after you and I watched a lot of Zach Wilson last year, we're going to add his name to that list. Certainly will, based on the way he played at the college level last year. I think he's primed to have a great, long, successful NFL career. Let's take a look at that Utah touchdown.
Yeah, Jacob Robinson is a freshman defensive back, 0. He's locked up one-on-one with Keithy. Now, the thing you have to recognize is that when that other safety vacates and comes to the line of scrimmage, you don't have any help inside. Keithy recognizes that. Robinson doesn't react to it. He has to take away the middle, the inside, because that's the easier throw. You want to force the quarterback to make the more difficult throw to the corner. Keithy knew the safety wasn't there, ran a tremendous route to get open.
Just a really good player, and they finally made a point of getting him the ball on that drive. Deep down the middle, and incomplete. Looked like a hold to me. Man, I thought the defender had a piece of the jersey of Puka Nacua. I don't think I'm alone here inside the stadium in thinking that. It looked obvious to me from way up here.
Yeah, the question is, where did the ref pick him up? Looks like he's reaching there.
I mean, it wasn't.
He didn't get a whole lot of it. And I think you could actually say from the ref's point of view, he reached, but I don't think he got him, so he didn't throw a flag.
Handoff, right side running. That's Katoa, who got hit hard and dropped after a short game.
Remember back at the beginning of the game, we talked about taking your shots, that you have to hit those. That was one of the missed deep ball there, because it's so hard to go 10, 12 plays against this defense. When you get that opportunity, those balls have to be on the mark to those receivers out there.
So now 3rd and 8. Utah actually better yards per play on offense in this first half. Under 7 minutes to go until halftime. Play gets snapped, throws short. I mean, that's exactly what Utah wanted. And the hit made by Vontae Davis. Tackle well short of the first down. I know Kalani Sitake's been pretty aggressive going for it. I don't think he's going for it here.
Are you surprised that we've seen a number of coaches this year do this? Not here, and he's not going for it, but we've seen a number of them go for it on 4th down in their own territory.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've, over the last few years, the analytics have encouraged coaches to be much more aggressive on 4th down. Some have finally started to do it. I think you're right. This season feels like there's been adoption of that philosophy more across the board. Rico, man, it's fun to watch him punt. Just skies it up there. No fair catch. And now, after the missed tackle, some room to return. And a great return outside the 40 to the 45.
Who else but Covey, right?
He is one of the great punt returners in college football. And he's been around a long, long time. He's had a hard time staying healthy. When he is healthy, he can do this.
He was a freshman in 2015, and the good ones make the first guy miss. Read your blocks, and he is talented. We'll get more from him before the night's done.
2015. It is back, and I don't know if this one exactly counts as that, but sort of. The Utes certainly consider themselves a contender in the Pac-12, and it's very dark under the lights here in Provo. Utah has the ball again, and Brewer kept it. That was some nifty ball handling. The BYU defense had no idea. Now we're going to get another personal foul along the sideline. Brewer got shoved after he'd gone out of bounds. So this is a big gain. Plus, you're going to tack on another 15 yards.
Oh, we've seen a couple of these late hits on the sidelines. This is part of this, the emotional side of this rivalry. Guys going a little bit further, getting that extra lick in that, maybe they wouldn't in a normal game.
That's Max Tooley.
After the play, personal foul. Late hit out of bounds, defense number 31. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And the issue there is just all the danger and risk by the sidelines, because Brewer had already given himself up and made a move to the sideline.
Good player, not a good play. Max Tooley. So 19-yard game plus 15-yard penalty. That's 34 yards. Utah on the move and threatening to go ahead in the second quarter. Straight ahead run. That is Tavion Thomas, who's back on the field. So Kyle Whittingham has given him another shot.
Yeah, another shot for him. And Brewer has found his rhythm. The previous drive, he was 3 of 3, couple passes to tight ends. Maybe that helped him. And then the big run here. So he's getting into the flow of this rivalry game now. They do run jet sweeps down here.
Brewer under center. Thomas left side, nice cut. Penalty flag thrown though inside the 5. That's the area where you expect to hold. I think this one's moving backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Holding offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Simi Moala.
On the right side, you'll see 69.
Almost more like a trip than a hold.
Yeah. A tackle, trip, yep.
That's big call. Second and 15. Brewer, plenty of time, throws short, and a great break on the ball to knock it away D'Angelo Mandel.
Perfectly timed by Angelo Mandel, but really, this is again the blitz coming, changing up what they do. And they sit back in zone behind the blitz, so your eyes are on the quarterback, and that allowed Mandel to make the play. So, big third down here. How conservative will BYU be on defense?
The tendency in this game so far tells me they're going to be aggressive. We'll see.
Timeout, Utah.
It's a pretty good challenge for an offense that last year played in silence. Coming into a sold-out crowd, very loud on a third down and long.
50,000 season ticket holders for BYU, which meant there were only, what, about 10 or 11,000 tickets possibly available for Utah fans.
And let me just say this, looking around the stadium, the Utah fans did not buy all those 10,000. There are way fewer than Utah fans than that.
And they didn't get the good seats either. They got put up in the nosebleeds.
There's some red scattered around, but just not much of it.
That's part of the deal with rivalries, man. You stick your opponent up in the nosebleed seats.
Out of the timeout, 3rd and 15. No blitz, just a 3-man rush across the middle, and that one is caught inside the 10 by Theo Howard. It is short of the first down, and it's 4th and a yard and a half, maybe 2. What do you think Kyle Whittingham wants to do?
Well, Kyle tends to be a little bit more conservative and tries to normally tie the game up, but I think this new trend has even gotten to him. He's going for it here.
He's inspired.
Yeah. You know, the analytics tell you that, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, you're probably going to get it. Most coaches are reluctant to try it when they know they have 3 points in their back pocket.
Here we go, 4th and 2. Brewer in the shotgun, Bernard alongside. They'll give it to Bernard, who gets hit and dropped. I don't think he got it. And I don't think he even really got that close.
Well, the problem with the shotgun on a 4th down situation is you don't give your running back the ability to get that head of steam if you're running inside. I'm surprised they didn't go under center. But when you're in that shotgun, you're wasting a step or two while the defense is penetrating.
I've never liked the shotgun on short yardage situations.
It doesn't work so much. I thought they were in shotgun because they were going to use quarterback run involved with it.
A big stop for the BYU D. We'll take a timeout. The Cougars have the ball when we come back. Prime time on ESPN, presented by Geico. What a scene at Lavelle Edwards Stadium for this rivalry game. Number 21 Utah on the road with a 9-game win streak against their in-state rivals. BYU, though, nearing the end of the first half, has a 10-7 lead. Just got a stop on 4th down. They'll hand it off deep in their own territory. Tyler Algier got run down by the Utah defensive player, Nephi Sewell, who's made a lot of plays in this first half.
Comes from a football playing family. His brother had a big game today, Noah, and the Oregon Ducks knocking off Ohio State. Noah had a nice game at linebacker for them.
I'm sure they'll all be watching older brother Panay tomorrow make his NFL debut. High draft pick out of the University of Oregon. Another run play for the Cougars. Being pretty conservative here toward the end of the half.
Yeah, the previous series, the BYU offensive line, particularly the left side, had been doing a tremendous job. Utah has adjusted. You know, there are 3 offensive linemen for BYU whose dads played at BYU. You think they didn't hear a little bit about the rivalry from Dad this week?
That is such a common theme with so many of these players. That's Blake Freeland, the sophomore. Huge, hulking tackle, 6'8". Utah now, you have 2 timeouts. They've let a lot of time run off. You're in the part of the field where if you stop the clock, maybe you come up with a big play. Hall across the middle. That pass is caught. So they didn't use the timeouts. BYU gets a completion for the first down, and that's Dallin Holker, one of those tight ends. Yep. Gets a touch.
Well, that's been the good part of the offense, and that ball was right where it needed to be, down low.
17 yards. Hall to the line of scrimmage quickly. Algier out of the backfield. Clock continues to run at the 30, gain of 5.
2-minute drill, couple timeouts.
Should be time enough to get down into field goal range if you execute. Katoa, though, that's going to make it a little harder. Now we'll see if BYU uses one of those timeouts. It doesn't look like they're gonna.
That's the one running play that has worked for them. I don't know why they wouldn't use a timeout there and save some clock.
I just don't. You go into up tempo and then you don't call the timeouts. Hall, big run. Hall out toward midfield. The clock will stop while they get the chains set now. Under a minute to go.
Clock management. Always an issue.
And Jaron Hall is just his 4th career start, 2nd this season. That is incomplete, and I think for BYU it's better that it was incomplete. 44 seconds to go.
Well, they'll have to adjust what they're doing offensively now because Utah has decided, look, we're not going to let you throw anything deep. We're going to play soft coverage. We're going to drop 7 or 8 and keep everything in front. So patience by Hall. They actually can take, you know, the 10-15 yarder with the 2 timeouts and get into range. They can't keep waiting to hit the home run.
They need at least 15, probably a little more, to have a realistic chance for a field goal at the end of the half. Hall looking downfield, throws into coverage. That was a pretty dangerous throw, but it turned out to be a good throw. Puka Nacua needs to snap on his helmet a little tighter. That's the 2nd time it's come off in the first half.
Had some mustard on that throw.
BYU does use one of those timeouts because it was not a first down, so the clock was rolling. 34 seconds to go. And so
Number 12
while
of the offense's helmet came off through play. BYU has elected to use a team timeout their 2nd in the half to avoid a 10-second runoff.
Okay, thank you, Chris Coit. So now, while BYU takes that timeout, let's get an update in studio with Matt.
You know who should get a helmet sticker?
Who?
Vernon McKinley for Oregon. That safety played lights out.
All right, Jesse, Joey, if you're listening, there's Rod's vote. I totally agree. You and I got to know him last year. He's been around for a couple seasons at Oregon, has turned into a star.
Yeah.
We were trying to think. Joel Klatt on the broadcast of that game said he thought it was the biggest win for the Pac-12 since the initial college football playoff when Oregon beat Florida State. Now that you're going back 7 years now.
Yeah.
And I think he might be right.
Yeah.
They were trying to find another one. 3rd and 1. Handoff. Algier is going to get the first down into Utah territory, down to the 35-yard line. So now you are in borderline field goal range. Trying to get to the line of scrimmage quickly here. You could clock the ball and stop it, run a quick play. Clock is moving. Hall got to get the ball snapped. And at some point, got to get rid of it. We'll throw it downfield, and he's got a man wide open. Caught! He kept the play alive long enough to find Keanu Hill. Now it's 1st and goal, 13 seconds on the clock with the timeout. Can BYU get organized here and make something happen?
That's all Jaren Hall.
The clock is rolling. You got Utah now. Wow, Utah did him a favor. I can't believe Utah called the timeout.
They saved them. BYU looked like they were totally discombobulated, and Utah called the timeout.
This play just took so long.
Well, the thing that happened was because Hall kept himself alive so much, the defensive backs came up, and they lost track of receivers. And Hill just kept going deep. You know, when a quarterback scrambles, you're supposed to plaster to the man that is in your area. And Utah didn't do that. They were watching Hall going, well, he's going to run.
Now, the thing that really frustrates me here is, and they got bailed out a little bit by the tight end from Utah because Utah was disorganized as well. But you come to the line of scrimmage, the play ended at 13 seconds. You've got to have a play where you can rush up to the line and clock it, spike it, kill the clock, and then you give yourself at least one, maybe two chances to get a touchdown.
Right. We talk about clock management, and it is often done very poorly. We talked about it earlier where they could have used the timeout to save more clock. They probably have one shot now at the end zone here.
But they do still have that timeout thanks to Utah needing to burn theirs. So Hall is going to spin, look for the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown! Samson Nakua, who caught one for the Utes in this rivalry game a couple years ago. Now he's wearing the BYU blue. Now there is a penalty flag down.
He can't keep his helmet on.
His brother can't. Now he can't. I mean, he may have been flagged for taking his helmet off to celebrate.
But he's going to be the answer to a trivia question.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 45 and number 12. A 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. This is both players' first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
Brothers together.
Penalties together.
Yeah.
What a drive by BYU. Amazing.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't the best clock management, but they got the touchdown out of it. So in that sense, you go, well, whatever. But think about.
Correction, the 15-yard penalty is being forced on the try.
Trivia. He'll be the answer to a trivia question. Who was the only person to catch a touchdown for Utah and BYU in this rivalry?
I mean, he played 45 games with the Utes. Like, he didn't just stop by for a cup of coffee.
No, this is crazy, man.
Extra
you don't
point
find this
from a lot longer out, and it's no good. That penalty just cost BYU a point.
The extra point is no good. And so
I hope the celebration was worth it.
That's exactly right. He'd had trouble keeping his helmet on earlier. Like maybe the chin strap wasn't fastened, but this is just one of those out routes where he fakes inside, and that hurts the defensive back because you got to protect the inside. So the outside's open, and man, Jaren Hall on the move. I think he's more accurate on the move.
I agree.
Than he is in the pocket.
I totally agree. 4 seconds to go in the first half. Tomorrow, this is a big deal. The U.S. Open men's final. Novak Djokovic, he's been around forever, arguably the greatest player of all time. He's got a chance for the true Grand Slam tomorrow if he can win that final matchup with Medvedev. 1 seed versus 2 seed, 4 Eastern. Really, truly history on the line.
Yeah.
All 4 majors in 1 year. Djokovic has a chance to do it. Don't miss it tomorrow afternoon.
The debate about the greatest male player. Wow.
That may tip the scales in Novak Djokovic's favor.
Well, he'll certainly have it on resume, but you know, folks are gonna bring up Roger and Nadal, and you can make a case for all 3.
You have a good spirited debate for a long time.
I think our Fed is probably the sentimental favorite, though.
I think you're probably right. Meanwhile, here, Utah gets the ball to start the second half. I think we'll just see a knee here. What did you think of the first half overall?
I thought BYU really played great defense, breaking their tendencies, using pressure. You know, I think that really disrupted what Utah wanted to do offensively. And I think Utah's going to have to get in the locker room and adjust and figure out how are they going to deal with what they're seeing on their early downs now. But I think this has gone as well as it could have for BYU in the first half.
BYU trying to break that rivalry losing streak. It's halftime, and they got the lead 16-7. Time to send you to Matt, Joey, and Jesse for halftime. ESPN presented by Geico as we get ready to start the second half. BYU trying to end their long rivalry losing streak, leading the Utah Utes 16-7. Halftime stats brought to you by Sport Clips. Our total yardage pretty even. Third downs, huge difference there. BYU converted when they got in the red zone. Part of the reason why the Cougars have the 16-7 lead. Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, Alex Chappell back with you here on a beautiful night in Provo. Rod, what do the Utes have to do if they want to keep their win streak going?
Well, Jaron Hall has been a problem. They can't contain him. They can't keep him in the pocket. They've got to address that. And then I think offensively, Michael Bernard has to get back in the game. He can help them in the blitz pickup and getting out of the backfield catching passes.
All right, so we'll see. Utah does get the ball first to start the second half. After the touchback on the kickoff, let's go down to the sidelines and talk to Alex Chappell.
Hey, Dave and Rod, well, exactly what you all are just talking about. When I caught up with Coach Whittingham, he didn't mince words. He said, we got to get more pressure on Jaron Hall. We got to get after their quarterback. In the first half, we have no sacks, and he's able to do everything he wants to, and it's going to be a long night if he keeps that going. Now, as for Coach Sataki on his defense, he says anyone can have a good first half. We got to keep playing discipline and find a way to finish tonight. Thank you, Alex.
Long way to go in this game, and there have been some wild swings in this series of late. The hit on the quarterback, the ball got tipped up, and the pass ultimately is an incomplete one. So there's more first down pressure from BYU.
Yeah, and Utah does have Mekhi Bernard in the backfield, and I think for that reason, because he's pretty decent on blitz pickup, but he's coming off the field now. He gives you a receiving threat, an outlet against that pressure, but he's out of the game right now.
Keenan Peely, who had the monster week one, putting pressure on the quarterback first play of the second half. Tavion Thomas in the backfield. He had a fumble early in the game. 2 Utah turnovers in that first half. Thomas straight ahead. It'll be third down.
You know, a lot of people in the offseason, when they heard that Brewer was coming to Utah, saw that as the missing link, the missing piece for Utah. And that still may be the case, but we haven't seen the offense really sort of get going. BYU's had a lot to do with that, but it just seems to be stagnant tonight. Tight ends have been lost.
Right away, a third down, a long 5 for the Utes. Just the 3-man rush, so plenty of time. Brewer just trying to find somewhere to go with the ball. Dumps it off, complete. The good open field tackle, and I think Bernard came up short by a yard. That was Jacob Robinson. He got beat for the touchdown pass in the first half. That was a really nice play.
Yeah, he forgot about that, came right back and made a good tackle there. Stopped Bernard short of that first down. And again, they didn't really stretch the defense there. I mean, everybody ran a short route, and BYU collapsed on it. So not a rhythm, nothing going yet for Utah.
When you said that about he forgot about the play he made in the first half, that's DB experience. You got to forget.
You do. You got to let it go. It sticks with you 10 years, 20 years later.
Fair catch called for.
I still have nightmares about plays that I didn't make back in the day.
Well, imagine having to defend Jaron Hall, the BYU quarterback, who will come on the field here for the first time in the second half. To me, he's been really impressive in the early season. Our passing spotlight brought to you by Dash Pass.
Well, he's proven that if you don't contain him, he is going to hurt you. He can hurt you with his legs. This big run set up a huge touchdown drive for them. And look at the way he throws the ball on the move. I mean, he played baseball, so he's got that natural feel and instinct for throwing on the move.
Yeah, he was a part of BYU's baseball program a couple years ago. Gave it up to focus full-time on football. Big pressure coming, but he got away and he delivered the ball to Powell. There are those wheels. Bought a little extra time and got the big gain.
Poise, maturity, and smarts. The smart part of it is he knew that pressure meant he had single coverage because of so much that they brought out there. So he took the chance and floated the ball.
Hall with the handoff, and Algier doing some tough running across the 40-yard line. He got 8-9 yards.
When we talk about athleticism, he recognizes, okay, this is a big blitz. He knows it has to be single coverage, and then he just puts it out there.
Yeah, he really is talented throwing on the move. Penalty flag in the backfield. I think this will be a hold. Hall throws that away, but this one, I believe, will be against BYU.
Holding, offense number 76, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Sataki's been a ball hawk tonight on the sidelines.
Yeah, he tried to downplay, you know, the importance of this rivalry. You know, he said, you know, as a fan, you know, I get excited about some of this stuff, but I'm a coach. I'm focused. You know, we're just the streak. Don't worry about the streak.
Please.
Yes.
Sell that to somebody else.
Really.
He obviously cares a lot about this, and you know, he spent a lot of time up in Salt Lake City with Kyle Whittingham at Utah. He knows that program so well.
Told us that had it not been for Whittingham, he wouldn't have this career, this head coaching career. He spent 10 years as an assistant for him.
That was a 2nd and 1. The penalty makes it 2nd and 11. Hall will throw it out to Puka Nacua, fighting ahead out to the 40-yard line, and his helmet stayed on.
That's a first. I think maybe they mentioned that at halftime.
I mean, it really kind of is.
He got flagged for it, scoring the touchdown.
Quick tempo snap on 3rd and short. Algier got through the initial contact to get a BYU first down.
What do you make of offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick changing things up? You know, he started this game throwing. He starts the 3rd quarter throwing.
Yeah, I like the way that they've started to call this game. I also like the fact that they do change tempos, and it's not predictable. Sometimes they go quick tempo and go down the field. Sometimes they go quick tempo and just hand the ball off.
They are doing a good job of keeping this talented defense off balance.
Because Utah's defense is really talented. They may be getting a little worn down even early in the second half. Hall took a hit and threw it over the intended target, trying to hit Isaac Rex, the tight end.
Isaac Rex falls incomplete, brings up 2nd and 10.
Well, Jaron Hall, you know, part of the story for him will also be this year, can they keep him healthy? He had several different injury issues early in his career, had a hard time staying healthy.
You know, last week was the first game he started and completed in college. He was knocked out of both games he played in 2019.
So he's trying to finish a 2nd consecutive start. 2nd down. Utah defended that one well. But there's no doubt. I mean, the huge question for BYU, so much returning talent. I mean, a huge chunk of their team from last year, and it was a special team. But a huge group coming back. But the big question was, what are we going to get at the quarterback position with no Zach Wilson after his historic year? I mean, the early returns to me are outstanding.
I think after 2 weeks, we can say the succession plan looks pretty darn good. They can keep him healthy and keep really playing to his strengths.
3rd down and long here. They've converted on 4 straight 3rd downs. Pressure comes. It was picked up over the top and incomplete. Samson Nacua, he got his hands up there, and I don't know if ultimately Broughton knocked it away or if he just couldn't pull it in 4th down.
Yeah, that ball was on the money. That's a ball he's got to come down with. Broughton comes off the field holding his right arm. But that's a catchable ball. That has to be made.
Maybe that little pull on the right arm was just enough. Maybe.
What pull?
Yeah. Hopefully Broughton's okay. The punt, Rico. That one is going to bounce, and it will break the plane. So another impressive punt, but another touchback. Utah gets the ball back. 10:31 to go, third quarter. BYU ahead 16-7. It's an annual effort led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that brings college sports together to support and honor great teachers across the country at games. On social media to learn more about Extra Yard for teachers, follow at CFP Extra Yard. Britton Covey, who has been a very valued member of this program, comes from a distinguished Utah family. Britton, who's the wide receiver, kick returner for the Utes. His grandfather, Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. First down, Utah going backwards. Thomas gets pushed back. Now the ball comes out. They blew the play dead. Thomas is down. Just to finish the thought, Britton's grandfather, Stephen, was a professor at BYU, also part of the business school at Utah State, distinguished educator. Sold 30 million copies plus of that book.
The runner was down prior to the ball coming loose, second down.
So our Extra Yard for teachers, celebrating teachers from kindergarten teachers through college professors, everyone in between. Thomas, man, that ball, he's down, it looks to me.
But that's not going to endear him to the coaches that the ball came out again.
The ball coming loose is
They're
under review.
And take a look. I mean, I think this call is going to stand.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is a kid who has a lot of talent, but fumbled week 1, has fumbled already tonight, and now the ball came out again.
He is really talented. He is the big inside runner that they really want. That ball, he's holding that ball really low. You know, you got to hold it up high and tight so that it doesn't get punched out. And that one comes out. He's 6'2", 220 pounds. Good speed, good vision, good toughness. But you got to hang on to the football. That right knee is down. You know, you were talking about Britton Covey and his family. You know, that family basically were BYU fans. And Britton, who grew up, you know, near the BYU Stadium, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, wound up at Utah.
And there's so many stories like that in this rivalry. It's one of the things that make this rivalry special.
After review, the ruling of the runner being down prior to the ball coming loose is confirmed. Second down.
Okay, so confirmed from our referee. It will be second down and long. BYU doesn't negate the fact that BYU stuffed Utah for a loss. The Utes offense, slow start to the second half. Whatever they were talking about at halftime, so far it hadn't worked.
No, they haven't done much of it. We still haven't seen them get much in the way of their tight ends. Keithy and Kincaid have been missing, other than the touchdown pass to Keithy in the first half.
Charlie Brewer, second and long. Left side run. That looked like Mekhi Bernard, and it was a positive run, but it's still going to be third down and 6, maybe close to 7.
And I really do think we're going to see more of Bernard, because he gives them that ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. And they need something, because they're not getting the ball down the field. They're not getting the ball to their tight ends. So the only logical guy left is Bernard. The receivers have not separated from the defensive backs out there.
Third and 6. Brewer across the middle, wide open. There's one of those tight ends. That's Kincaid into BYU territory. First down and much more for Utah.
Kincaid, only 1 year of high school football. Was a basketball player. Played at San Diego, University of San Diego. And then came over here, transferred in, and has really become quite a target. He's athletic, can get up. And with Keithy, he gives them that additional mismatch against nickels and safeties. And you see Robinson was the guy covering him there, and he had a huge size advantage there.
Milestone throw for Charlie Brewer, over 10,000 yards passing now in his college career. Congratulations to Charlie. That one was 37. Biggest play of the night for Utah. Still very much in this game. Play fake on first down, but no, they stopped the play.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Wow. After you get the big gain down the field, you don't get organized and get a play called, and you commit a delay a game.
I still think Utah hasn't gotten comfortable with the fact that BYU is throwing different things at them on first down. I mean, they're used to BYU being bend but don't break. But on first down now, they are either showing the blitz, coming with it, or faking it. And it's taking a little bit more time for Utah to figure out how they want to handle it.
Well, 1st and 15. Here comes some pressure. Brewer got rid of it quickly. That's Keithy, the other tight end. You can see how nifty he is. Man, you watch these two guys play and you just think Utah has to make it a priority to get Keithy and Kincaid the ball.
That had to be the topic at halftime. Had to be, because those guys were missing from the offense. And when you can get them in space or get them in 50-50 positions against smaller defensive backs, you got something going. Let's see if they stick with it here. They've got them both on the field.
Bernard spins away, and that's a nice run from Mekhi Bernard. That's a Utah first down.
They have a lot of trust in him. Bernard is the running back who's been there the longest after all of the transfers came in this season.
He's the one returner. You got Thomas from Cincinnati in junior college, Pledger from Oklahoma, Chris Curry's on this roster. I mean, he's a guy who started the college football playoff championship game for LSU a couple years ago.
And I think he's in the ball game now.
On 1st and 10, Utes inside the BYU 30, and now Utah has to burn timeout. They're having some kind of issue with getting the play in. So Utah burns their first second-half timeout on the move, but down 16-7. Back right after this.
BYU sucks!
I think this is a more personal rivalry than Ohio State-Michigan.
The brotherhood gets lost in the ballyhoo, and it can get ugly.
I guess you can kind of call it the Super Bowl of the state of Utah.
It can get ugly. I think that is true, although hopefully it doesn't get too ugly tonight. It's been ugly for BYU lately against that man. I mean, Kyle Whittingham has this incredible record in this rivalry matchup. Utah's won 9 straight. Nobody in the history of the rivalries ever won 10 in a row. BYU's not going to get another chance until 2024. Play fake out of the timeout. Brewer in trouble. Throws it short, and then the big hit out of the open field. That's Ben Bywater, who really had a nice game week 1, had 10 tackles, and playing well again here tonight.
Well, he's sitting back there and reading and makes the play. But, you know, you're right about this rivalry and the possibility of a 10-game losing streak. We talked about BYU having a sense of urgency, because who knows what's going to happen with scheduling down the line with the Big 12 membership coming too. It may not be easy to schedule this rivalry game.
I mean, if you ask me, this should be played every single year. How can you not like this for college football and college football in this state? Wow. The BYU defender almost just took the handoff. Atunaisa Mahe.
Mahe was in there so fast, he looked like he was going to get the handoff. He timed that perfectly. Just watch it. Look how quickly he gets by the center, Nick Ford.
Nick Ford's a good player. He just blew right by. Play clock is winding down again for Utah. It's under 5. Brewer needs to get the ball snapped, and I think he just did, barely. Downfield, and it is incomplete. Intended for Covey.
Great coverage by Robinson. Great coverage. That young man has really bounced back nicely from giving up the touchdown in the first half. He's made 2 really good plays here in the third quarter.
So these last couple minutes, Utah had to burn a timeout.
Here you see him in good position, gets to look back, hands on him. You know, the officials, as far as they're concerned, if hands are being used by both players, it's not pass interference.
Going to try a field goal. Jaden Redding, good kicker from 49 yards out. That kick is going to miss. Wide right. No good. After all that, the Utes come away with absolutely nothing.
You know, they are usually fantastic when it comes to special teams.
BYU fans can sense it. Could tonight be the night for the Cougars? It's been such a long wait. 2009. A lot's changed since then. Cougars with the third quarter lead. Well, a nice drive for Utah that took up almost 6 minutes, and yet in the end they got nothing to show for it. A missed field goal after the drive stalled. So BYU's defense holds, and now the Cougars with 4:35 to go, third quarter, leading 16-7. We'll hand the ball off to Tyler Algier on first down. The running lanes have been bigger as this game's gone on.
This time they caught Utah in a slant. So they guessed right and went left, while Utah's defensive line went the opposite way.
Here we go with quick tempo, and that, I mean, it hasn't always worked for BYU. Hand the ball off. Utah was ready for it that time. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And Devin Lloyd, one of the better linebackers in the Pac-12. Some would argue he may be the best. You know, certainly has been involved tonight. But, you know, this defense may have to make a big play. They may have to get a takeaway to help out the offense.
Hall, and the play is stopped.
False start. Offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
You know, one thing, Rod, about Utah, we've watched Utah for a lot of years under Kyle Whittingham. They've had so many big guys up front, and they have those big guys again this year. Do they have a game record, though?
Yeah.
I mean, they have had some true impact pass rushers, inside interior linemen who can blow up a play. I mean, they've got size, they've got talent. I don't know.
I think their front, they've got all really, really good players. I think, you know, Tafua 42 has moments like that, but they haven't happened tonight. BYU's offensive line's been pretty darn good.
That pass incomplete. Trying to throw it to Holker, the tight end.
But to your point, when Utah is at its best defensively, they are knocking around the quarterback. They're getting strip sacks. You know, they're getting some scoop and score. And we haven't seen any of that tonight. We have hardly seen them get a hand on Hall.
Now, they've hurried him a few times when they've brought pressure. When they don't bring pressure, they're having a hard time even doing that.
Yep.
3rd and 14, and now movement again along the line. Tafua.
False start. Offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
LaChance was pointing it to Tafua, but LaChance called for the penalty.
They were pointing at each other. There's the first move by Tafua, but it was early enough that he could get back and get settled.
Correction. Offside.
Nope.
Defense number 42 in the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty.
Okay.
Still 3rd down.
I don't know why the little consultation didn't happen before they initially announced the penalty, but I think they did get it right. So it's 3rd down and about 10. Ball in the pocket. That big arm, the completion to the sideline. Puka Nacua, first down BYU.
Well, they picked up the pressure. Devin Lloyd, number 0, came on a blitz inside. They picked him up, and Hall showed you that he can deliver from the pocket. He had protection, and he threw a strike. The Nakua brothers have been big for BYU tonight with the injuries that have plagued the receivers.
I think it's obvious they missed those two last week. Neil Pau'u has played tonight and played effectively at times. Gunnar Romney was in early. We haven't seen much of him. Katoa gets the carry. Straight ahead run for just a few yards.
But Samson Nakua, his touchdown pass, has played well, and his brother Puka from the University of Washington, both, you know, really were playing well at their prior schools, and both Washington and Utah were sorry to see them go.
They're the brothers, clearly happy to be playing together. I mean, I think that's a big part of.
Yeah, they got a penalty for celebrating together.
They did. Both took off their helmets after Sampson's touchdown. Empty backfield on 2nd and 8. Hall really on the move, going backwards here, and he will get it back to the line of scrimmage.
Passes legal.
You know, he
number 12
backwards.
is in the
I didn't know he
area.
was going to get it there.
That's true. He retreated about a good 20-25 yards. He just has a lot of poise for a guy who's making only his 4th start. You know, he seems to manage the game well. He takes care of the football. A lot of maturity for a guy who hasn't played, you know, as a starter year after year. He seems like he's a guy who's been a starter going into his 2nd or 3rd season now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's married now. He has a young daughter. He says that's changed his whole outlook on life. They're going to call a timeout, I think, with the play clock winding down.
BYU.
Both teams have had a hard time with
First of the
that.
half. 30 seconds.
So BYU burns a timeout. 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. BYU up 16-7. While we have a moment, another chance to remind you that you can kick off your Week 1 NFL Sunday with NFL Countdown on ESPN and the app tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, just a few hours from now, really. Patrick Mahomes sit down with our new teammate, his old teammate, Alex Smith. And then on Monday, 52nd season of Monday Night Football begins. It's the Ravens and the Raiders at that beautiful NFL stadium in Las Vegas. You and I were just there last week.
New appreciation for it. Having been in it, called a game there, that place is fantastic.
BYU brought about 50,000 people to Las Vegas for that game. So Ravens Raiders on Monday night, 8 Eastern. The Mannings will be over on ESPN2. There's all kinds of different ways to take in Monday Night Football. So it's 3rd and 8 out of the timeout. Jaron Hall back on the field in Utah territory. We'll see what BYU wants to do here.
Yeah, you know, my sense is that the way their defense is playing, that they're not going to think 4 downs in this part of the field.
Hall, design run, straight ahead, made a move, 1st down and more. Jaron Hall uses his legs to get the BYU 1st down.
Yeah, he's been the difference tonight.
Best player on the field,
yeah,
I think.
He has picked his spots to use his legs. He's moved out of the pocket, thrown it well. There's just a nice little subtle move here. Look at that little jump step to get away.
Now the quick completion. Gunnar Romney back in the game for a gain on 1st down. Let's go down to the sideline with Alex.
Well, talking with offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick before this game about Jaron Hall, and he said when it comes to Hall, his father played at BYU. This game means so much to him. He's been preparing this game for his life.
Preparing for a run like that. Straight down the sideline, almost to the goal line. Jaron Hall pushed out of bounds, but it's going to be 1st and goal BYU.
It is a whole different offense when you have a quarterback run threat like Hall.
He's got 64 rush yards. They've been efficient in the pass game, a couple touchdown throws.
A couple drops.
So now 1st and goal. Hall looking to throw the ball across the middle, zipped it in there, touchdown. Gunnar Romney. Guess Gunner's feeling all right.
Yeah, he got banged up last week, and everybody thought he was going to be out for 2, 3, 4 weeks. He went out to the walkthrough yesterday, sprinted past us, and said, "I'm playing." Boy, is he. Yes, indeed.
Now the extra point on the way, and that is good. BYU missed one earlier.
Let me ask you something about Jaren Hall. Are we witnessing what we witnessed last year, where Zach Wilson sort of came out of nowhere to be one of the top picks, where he's, in 2 weeks, he's impressing as one of the better quarterbacks in college football already?
I agree. I mean, he's got that dimension. I'm not saying Zach Wilson couldn't have done that, but maybe not quite like this. And he's got some arm strength. He's got some touch.
He's showing you all the skills. And he's showing you the mental side of it as well, and the game management, and the ability to know when to take a chance and when not to. We talked about that at the very beginning, that he had to have poise and he had to know when to take his chances. And he's done that tonight.
If I were a BYU fan, I'd be really, really excited about where Jaren Hall could take this team.
Yeah. We chatted last week about how BYU at one point had Jim McMahon, who went in the first round and left, and everybody was worried, and Steve Young took over. Maybe that's happening here.
This giant crowd of Cougars fans can sense that tonight might be the night to end that long, painful rivalry losing streak. Kick off into the end zone for another touchback. Our game track tonight is brought to you by Cadillac, and why not track the numbers of Jaren Hall? Just a terrific all-around performance again.
Yeah, he's really delivered. 16 of 27 with a couple of drops in there, responsible for 3 touchdowns, and he's taken care of the football.
To your point, 139 yards totally undersells the job he's done throwing the ball. He showed off all the throws. And this place is getting even louder. Into the backfield, Bernard made a couple Cougars miss and breaks off a good run. Bernard across midfield. There goes Bernard inside the 30. Wow, that could have been a loss. And Mekhi Bernard doesn't want this game to be over quite yet. 51 yards.
What a nice subtle move in the backfield to force a missed tackle, because he looked like he was going to be stopped back there right away.
Timeout for an injured player.
He got away. And look, now they're set up. Now they are inside the 30-yard line.
To 20 seconds.
A chance to get back in the game.
Please reset the game clock to 20 seconds.
He is clearly the running back that they trust the most. They've had some issues in the backfield tonight. Fumble. Looks like, some missed assignments on blitz pickup.
He's been their best player, I think. Like Jaren Hall's been BYU's best player, over 100 yards rushing now. Another spin move to avoid what could have been a loss or no gain on what will probably be the final play of the third quarter. I do believe, Rod, that this place is going to get loud here.
Oh, yeah. After 9 straight losses, they're looking at the possibility of getting a win and breaking that.
So we will go to quarter number 4 with BYU up 23-7. Well, just in the last moment, the rain has started to pour down in between quarters 3 and 4. And maybe BYU trying to rain on this Utah parade, which has been marching on since November of 2009. That's the last time the Cougars beat the Utes in this rivalry game. And these folks here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium can sense that tonight might be the night. It's been a long, long time. BYU full of energy all game long. Utah has the ball, though, as we start the fourth quarter. Brewer's going down. Healy in the backfield.
I can't tell you how much I'm impressed with how BYU has changed their tactics defensively. They are a much more aggressive team on first and second down. As I said, starting the game, that was not something they did. They were like 75th in the country in terms of pressure on first and second down. They've been doing it all night long.
Listen to this place. 3rd and 14. In the rain, these fans not going anywhere. Batted down and almost intercepted. Peyton Wilger got a hand on it and then almost grabbed it out of the air. He was headed the other way. So now 4th down and long, and
yeah, you have no choice here. Wilgar got his hands on it, or else that was going to be a completion. But this will be a 46-47 yarder, and Whittingham had no choice. You got to try this to try to cut this to a 2-touchdown game.
Kick on the way, and it is good. So Redding boots this one through, and Utah does get something positive at the start of the 4th quarter. I mean, these BYU fans do not want to leave sensing what could happen tonight, but the rain, I mean, it is a downpour right now.
Well, if you're a BYU fan, think about what this week has been. There was all the anticipation about the possibility of joining the Big 12. And then the announcement came yesterday, and the excitement and hoopla all over the campus was visibly apparent. The coaches were so excited too, and they're like, we got to calm down for the game tomorrow. We don't want everybody to think we're not focused on that. And then you get your rival in. They've beaten you 9 straight times, and you've outplayed them for 3 quarters. It's a heck of a weekend so far.
Let's check in quickly on the sideline with Alex. Well, maybe the rain knocked Alex's microphone. I mean, it is absolutely pouring. And the BYU fans love it. I literally think that Alex's mic got knocked out by the rain. Wow. I mean, it's been just a beautiful, gorgeous night all the way through, and all of a sudden it is just dumping.
It's like comical rain. You couldn't draw this up in a movie. You'd say that's not real.
Wow. Well, you never know how that might affect play. One thing, all the notes about this game and how BYU has dominated the last 2 meetings between these 2 teams. Utah's outscored BYU in the 4th quarter of those games 35-6. Wow. They have dominated the 4th quarters of this rivalry. BYU's got to protect the wet football. Up 13. Algier on 1st down. That was a nice positive gain of 4 yards.
Your point about the wet football, that's the big issue with rain. You know, it doesn't really hurt the passing attack as long as the rain doesn't give you a wet ball and the quarterback can grip it. It hurts the defense because, you know, if the field gets a little wet, it hurts your pass rush. Your big guys can't use speed techniques and go around the edge. It slows down the pass rush, and for a defensive back, you're a little bit more cautious in man coverage because you don't want to slip and let a guy run by you.
Jaron Hall, who has 3 touchdown passes tonight to match his career total. Now, not all of those games were starts or even where he was in for a whole lot of time, but he's having a big game for BYU. Cougars want to work the clock, but there's a long way to go in this game. 13 minutes still on the clock.
Well, it's a 2-possession game right now, and you know, if you're a Utah fan, you're thinking, okay, this great defense that might be or has been talked about as being the best in the Pac-12, they need to give a 3 and out and good field position. You know, if they can't get you a takeaway, that has to be the push that the defense has to say, we're going to get the team back into the game.
How good is this? Rivalry college football in a downpour in front of a sellout crowd. Hall fell down and somehow managed to get the handoff to Algier, who's going backwards. So the Utah defense holds. That could have been worse.
Penetration and speed. They got into the backfield right away, and Fury is over at the end. What a great name for a linebacker, Fury. You know, The first pressure inside. Tafua getting in there, and then Fury with the finish on the edge.
So Algier, his tape has fallen off his right arm.
Bring the Fury from linebacker. I love it.
Hayden Fury, who was a former walk-on, has earned a scholarship, first-year starter for Utah. He's had a nice game. Utes have 2 return men deep. The punt, and there was a fake of one of the coverage men for BYU. That worked. That was good design by the Utes, and they get a nice return there out close to midfield. That's Devon Vele, who took it instead of Britton Covey. So Utah maybe starting to build a little momentum in this game with the rain falling, down 13. All of us are missing Ty Jordan, who died on Christmas Day 2020, an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. BYU family reached out and continues to do so. Utah honored him last week, opening day up in Salt Lake City. The Utes are going to honor Ty with a helmet decal throughout the season. A very talented, bright young man gone way too soon. Ty Jordan, hoping somewhere that his Utes can come from behind in this rivalry matchup. Mekhi Bernard is having a heck of a game for Utah, and this game, Rod, is not over.
No, not over. And Bernard was Jordan's backup last season. Jordan was the Pac-12 freshman of the year last year, and you see they've had a hard time replacing him in the lineup. Tremendous man.
Brewer will throw, incomplete. He had his receiver out there, Solomon Enos. That was a catchable ball, not perfect, but
this is a touchdown or bust.
Number 21 of the offense went out of bounds on his own, returned to inbounds. Was first to touch the pass. This is illegal touching. Lost it down at the previous spot, second down.
Well, we've had a massive problem with Chris Coit's microphone tonight. I don't know if he's hitting the wrong button or what, but a penalty was thrown. That is an illegal touch. Enos stepped out. You can see it there, then came back in bounds. He wasn't forced out.
That's right.
So that's a penalty, and it's a loss of down.
Yep. Well, this is 4-down territory. Has to be.
Brewer off his back foot, throws short to Covey at the 30 to set up 3rd down. Gain of 6.
This is where Brewer has to shine. This is what Utah wants out of their quarterback, a veteran guy who's very accurate, who can deliver in the clutch. There will be a number of games for them down the road where they're going to need that if they have any chance of winning the Pac-12.
Pledger in the backfield with Brewer, who throws middle. It is caught, and that should be good enough for a 1st down. That's Cole Fotheringham, who is not normally the big receiving tight end. He's more of a blocker. Well, that was a nice play by Cole. 1st down, Utah.
We've seen 2 and 3 tight ends out there. 2 of them again now.
Under center, Brewer. Handoff. That's Pledger, who tried to bounce it outside. That probably wasn't a great decision. Got a couple yards.
I would keep Bernard on the field.
Here he comes back on.
You know, he's run the ball really well, and actually they've never really considered him the inside runner. He's usually been a perimeter guy, but he's done well inside, and he is the threat out of the backfield for catching the ball, and that threat is important, particularly when BYU keeps bringing pressure.
Well, he's got 4 catches tonight, plus 124 rush yards. Mekhi Bernard. Utah's inside the 25. On the move, under 10 minutes to go. Handoff Bernard. And again, another great run. Bernard making people miss all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Utah. 22 yards of power and determination.
And he's not the power back. But he ran through 3 tackles that time. At least 3.
What a run that was. His first touchdown. A redshirt freshman from Long Beach, and Utah is very much in this game.
You said it earlier. He's been the best player on the field for Utah.
Extra point is good. BYU's lead is down to 6. And we still got 9.5 minutes to go.
Yeah. How about a tough run inside when there's nothing there? Bounce off of things like a pinball machine and get your team right back in the game. We got a finish coming.
Home and car insurance, and in part by Walmart. Save money, live better.
Well, the opportunity to come to the stadium and climb 2,071 steps representing the 110 floors of the World Trade Center on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Each participant received a badge with names of a firefighter or law enforcement officer that they are honoring. That happened earlier here in Provo.
Beautiful.
September 11th, 2021 tonight. The BYU will get the ball back. 9:31 to go. They've lost 9 straight in this rivalry game. They were totally in control of this game until a few minutes ago. And I guarantee you that everybody in this stadium on the BYU side is thinking, can this possibly happen again?
Yeah, you can feel it. You can see it as you look at the crowd. There is some anxiety. They've seen this story before where Utah outscores them in the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter has been so lopsided so often. 9:31 to go. Jaron Hall will hand off. Tyler Algier gets some tough yards. Tried to spin out close to the 30 on first down. The rain has stopped. It was a downpour for a few minutes.
Hasn't affected the field at all or the football.
Almost like the rain washed the Utes of all the memories of how this game had been going, and they just started fresh. It gave them a fresh start. Since that rain shower, Utah's dominated the game. Algier really had nowhere to go. Devin Lloyd and company in there. Algier did well to get close, and he ended up maybe a yard or 2 short of the first down. This is a big third down.
Yeah, and Devin Lloyd in there trying to strip the ball out. You see Utah feels like they've got momentum. They're trying defensively to make a big play.
So Algier out. Instead, Hall will keep it, bounce it to the outside. He'll get the first down and more. There goes Hall across midfield, down the sideline. Touchdown, BYU. Wow. "66 yards.
Looks like they're bringing it back. They think he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a beautiful run.
The full celebration was on, but I guess he stepped out. So they get the first down across midfield. But he stepped out of bounds. Kalani Sitake would like to see. They didn't stop to review, though. So BYU just snaps the ball. Katoa into Utah territory. They started at the Utes 48, deeper across the 45. All right, let's see.
I think it was earlier.
Must have been
that left
step.
foot. Yeah, that left foot. Yep.
Wow, that was close, though.
Might have been the right foot also before that. No, BYU has found, you know, Hall is a dangerous weapon when you use him in the run game.
Katoa with the catch and run. They're using Lopini Katoa for another BYU first down. I think it's worth mentioning Lopini Katoa had quite a week. We talked about all the news for BYU this week. Lopini's mom had brain surgery just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
huge supporter of his. He calls himself a mama's boy, and apparently she's doing fine. But he's been thinking a lot about her, as have everybody around the BYU program.
Certainly sending out our best wishes to her for a good, full, and speedy recovery.
1st and 10. Hall going to run it again. Jaron Hall going to try it again. This time got shoved out, but still managed to get 10 yards.
Yeah, the thing you have to be careful, though, about is overusing him in the run game. Remember back in 2019, they ran him a lot. I believe it was against Utah State, and that's when he suffered one of those concussions. So it's a weapon, but you don't want to overuse it because he has had that injury history.
He's getting close to 100 yards. We thought he blew through that milestone on the long run that was initially a touchdown, but then the side judge said he stepped out of bounds. Play fake across the middle and knocked away, incomplete. He thought he had his tight end.
A little late. That play was a little bit late, and Devin Lloyd managed to get back in there and get a hand on it. A half a beat sooner, he would have had him.
Isaac Rex down the middle.
Now, if you're a Utah fan, you're thinking, you know, they are in field goal range. That would hurt us. Maybe you want to pressure here and try and get a sack or a loss and push him out of field goal range.
Algier slipped through. Algier still going all the way down to the 10.
Linebacker mentality. The former linebacker turned running back doesn't wait to be tackled. He told us he delivers a blow. He likes to hit, not be hit. Be careful lowering that head.
Now it's 1st and goal, and BYU very happy to let some clock wind off. Approaching 5 minutes to go. Algier gets it again, down to the 5. Covering the football with both hands, it looked to me like.
Well, this Utah defense has been on the field an awful lot. Seem a little worn out here.
And it helps to have a couple different running backs you trust. I mean, Lupini Katoa has played a lot of football for Utah, so Algier needs blow. Katoa comes in.
Well, BYU should be thinking, yes, touchdown, but protect the ball, because a field goal would give you a two-score lead.
Now a flag is thrown. Mason Wake came back to get the play call, I thought, and they may have called him for a penalty.
5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Instead, it was called against an offensive lineman, Harris the Chance.
There's the Chance. Yep, started rocking back. And then move. Easy call.
Clock was at 9:31 when BYU started this drive. So they've taken up more than 5 minutes. Hall swings it out. Katoa catch, then shoved out of bounds. Going to be 3rd and goal. And I think your point, especially 3rd and goal from the 9, is worth repeating, in that 3 points. A field goal is not equal depending on the circumstances. Here, a field goal is very, very valuable for BYU.
Well, you remind your quarterback, hey, we've got 3 in our pocket. It works really well. Be careful with the football down here. And if you're Utah, you're thinking, if he throws it, we're picking it.
Now, they were trying to stop that play. BYU made a substitution. Utah thought they should be allowed to make one as a counter, and there was just chaos there.
The defense was not allowed to match up to the substitution of the offense. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds. The clock will start on my signal. This is a warning for BYU.
Gotta play nice. Gotta play nice.
Even in a rivalry game.
If you make subs, the other side gets to make subs too.
So now 3rd and goal. Algier alongside Hall, but right as the play was snapped, BYU ran on the field and called a timeout.
Their second of the half. Timeout on the field.
So it's been a little jumbled minute here. BYU trying to put this game away.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. And in part by Walmart. Save money, live better.
Finale between the Yankees and the Mets from Citi Field. 8 Eastern start on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Wild game tonight at Citi Field. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown. Could be a wild night tonight in Provo, Utah. It already sort of has been. I mean, it's been a terrific atmosphere for this rivalry game. 23-17, 3:26 to go. BYU ball in field goal range, 3rd and goal. Hand the ball off. Algier straight ahead and gets to the point where this is basically going to be an extra point. Now Utah will use a timeout. Remember, the Utes burned one very early in the second half to prevent a delay of game when they had the ball on offense. So they only have 1 timeout remaining. And I'm not going to say this field goal will put the game away, because we've seen some craziness in the history of this rivalry, but this will go a long way to ending the losing streak.
I want to go back to that timeout that they spent early in the 3rd quarter. And you and I were talking about that off air, just that, you know, timeouts are so precious. Sometimes you should take that penalty and keep the timeout.
I agree with you. Early in the second half, you're trailing. You figure those timeouts are going to be important. It was 1st down. They saved 5 yards on 1st and 10. All right, here we go. Jake Oldroyd. Typically super reliable. Rain has stopped. Field goal try. And it is up and right down the middle. So 26-17, the Cougars fans can sense it. Can BYU finish it off? Final 3:17 right after this. The last time BYU won a game in this rivalry series back in 2009, Utah dominated the 4th quarter, forced overtime, kicked a field goal, and then Max Hall found Andrew George. The celebration was on. 26-23 in overtime. The last BYU win against Utah back in 2009. Max Hall was the architect.
Last win by Hall at quarterback. Next win could be by Hall at quarterback.
No relation. Jaron Hall tonight at the helm, and he has been terrific for BYU. But look who's here. Max is here. Last quarterback to beat Utah. Looking pretty darn good. My advice, don't challenge Max to an arm wrestling contest.
He has not missed the upper body workout day, has he?
Will always be a part of BYU history. Max Hall. There's Jaron Hall. Just orchestrated a tremendous drive. 12 plays and more than 6 minutes off the clock.
You know, and Jaron Hall doesn't care about the stats. I mean, he's just being an efficient quarterback.
So it goes without saying, BYU defense on the field. Utah's got to get yards, and they got to get them quickly, and they got to get points on the board quickly. That's Theo Howard with the catch along the sideline.
Well, and at some point we have to ask the question, how good is BYU? I mean, last season 11-1, and the criticism was, well, you know, weak schedule. This is their second Pac-12 opponent.
Brewer across the middle, and that pass is complete. So that'll be another first down. Stop the clock.
If they win tonight, they'll get another Pac-12 opponent next week. But a win tonight, I would imagine, you've got to put them in the top 20 at that point, right?
Those 2 pretty impressive wins in the part of the season where some teams just pile up victories against teams that are overmatched. That pass incomplete. Brewer threw it out of bounds. So it'll be second down. Again, 2:41 on the clock, 1 timeout. You need 2 scores. You can get them in any order.
That's
you
right.
figure you're going to have to get, with only the 1 timeout, you're going to have to try an onside kick.
You can still use the middle of the field, and you can use your big tight ends now. They come with a trips formation. Kincaid is the inside guy, 86. He would be the ideal candidate in the middle.
Brewer short, out of bounds, so the pass completed. Jalen Dixon with the catch. Third down, and now the clock will wind. Not inside 2 minutes, so clock starts. That's a drop.
Another drop.
And now Utah is down to their final chance. They got to get this one.
And BYU conceding the short throws, playing a drop 8 coverage. It's going to be tough on Brewer. The crowd is into it now.
They've been into it for 12 years, waiting. 4th and 2. That one is high, incomplete. And the party's going to start in Provo.
How's your weekend in other places? In Provo, getting a Big 12 invite and beating your opponent, ending the streak. It's a pretty good weekend.
I would say this would be one of the greatest weeks in the history of BYU football. And they've had a lot of good ones.
Yeah. And destined to appear in the rankings next week as one of your top 20 teams.
Algier, really the only job now, hang on to the football, don't go out of bounds, keep the clock rolling. Utah not conceding. They will use their final timeout.
Now this does not wipe out the season for Utah.
Hold that thought. Coming up next when we're finished, Sports Center with all kinds of highlights from around college football, including that gigantic win for Oregon on the road against number 3 Ohio State, the anniversary of September 11th, and the very emotional ending to the U.S. Open women's final. 2 teenagers, incredible tournament on the women's side. Djokovic goes for the Grand Slam tomorrow afternoon on the men's side. So lots to get to when we're finished on Sports Center. And we're almost finished, but not quite.
Not quite. Getting close there. I was about to say that Utah's season isn't over by losing this game. They still, you know, will be one of the 2 or 3 teams with a real good shot of winning the Pac-12.
Algier stopped short.
Assuming that their offense starts to find its rhythm.
I mean, who the heck knows about the Pac-12?
Yeah.
Last week we're saying, man, the Pac-12, what a brutal start to the year. Now today, Oregon goes on the road, gets the biggest win for the Pac-12 in years and years.
Stanford pounds USC after couldn't score against Kansas State.
I mean, it looked to me like the South was going to dominate this season in the Pac-12 after week 1. And you're right. Now Oregon with the signature win. Stanford just thumping USC tonight. Here, the story is BYU. They haven't beaten the Utes since November of 2009, and they're going to do it tonight. Algier gets the first down. Now BYU can go into victory formation. They have not said that in this rivalry in a long, long time.
And they were just more physical than Utah, and they had the X factor, Jaren Hall. Jaren Hall with his legs, and Jaren Hall throwing on the move.
That's a head coach who told us that this was basically just any other game. I'm sorry, Kalani, we love you, but this is not any other game.
He finally, look at that. He gets to beat his mentor. He gets to end the streak.
First time as a head coach with a win against the Utes.
All week long, he tried to undersell everything that was going on. The Big 12, the rivalry, the streak, facing his mentor. He's dancing now. Come on.
One more play to go here. One more kneel down. Years in the making. What a week to be a Cougar.
Who knows? What a season maybe to be a Cougar.
That is a pretty cool scene.
College football, man. College football with the fans back.
It's the best. Non-conference game, no championship implications, but in this state that loves the sport of football, loves college football, this game means a heck of a lot. First time the Cougars have celebrated a win over the Utes since November of 2009. And they do it in front of a packed house on an early fall night in Provo, Utah, where the celebration is going to go on for a while.
What a day in college football.
I think Tom Holmoe had a pretty good week himself, too. 26-17, the final score. For our producer, Joe Taylor, our director, Mike Griffin, our great crew, for Rod Gilmore, for Alex Chappell, Dave Fleming saying so long from Provo, Utah, where BYU is celebrating big time tonight. They take down the Utes. Final score, 26-17.